Hi and welcome back to Anchor. So today we are going to be doing prior to the court case. So again, mainly from Mum. Okay, now over to Mum.
Well, I thought we'd talk about Patrick and the preparation for the court case, which was not fun. I mean, Pat was fun, but the preparations for the court case weren't. Patrick was really, really healthy and he was going from strength to strength. He was amazing, never ill.
He's got the immune system of an ox.
Yes.
Yes.
He could take a few steps in his walker. He was brilliant. And
literally everything I could do, he tried to do.
I was really amazed the twins were so socially confident. My eldest son was like that when he was a baby. Always really surprises me.
Just to interrupt quickly, you're probably thinking, oh, geez, how many dogs are there? There's 5 dogs in total. There's 1 turtle and there's 2 cats. This little fella down here is Fezzik, who you will meet because he plays a big part in the Rupert injury video.
Yes. Yes.
We don't have an endless array of dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
We tried absolutely every treatment that was available.
Oh, you even did acupuncture, didn't you?
No, we had laser acupuncture. We weren't cutting out conventional therapy for alternate therapies, but we were taking a walk on the wild side of some of the crazy things. The acupuncture actually worked, and the laser acupuncture, it made Patrick really limp and relaxed, but we had to drive half an hour home, and by the time we got home he was stiff again.
Yeah, acupuncture only works for a short time.
I think the maddest thing we ever did was Chinese death touch therapy. We only did it for about 5 minutes as soon as I saw what Chinese death touch therapy was.
Is it like the name describes?
It is. I think it's probably you get better or you die. What else did we do? Oh, we did the Diamond Delicato patterning. And we did that for years. That actually was very helpful too. It's a bit hard to summarise it, but it basically requires 4 people, 5 people and you just simulate crawling, and it's supposed to organise your brain. There's no proof that it ever does this, but we felt that it helped, didn't we? They have a coma arousal therapy too, which mainly involves playing loud music to the afflicted. And I suggested to my uncle that we could try that after 3 months in a coma. What do you do? You know, you're really desperate. I also told him that it's only anecdotal evidence that it ever worked. There's been no study that I'm aware of. No, they played bagpipe music. Only took a day, whether it was in self-defence to get away from the headphones playing bagpipe music or not, we don't know. But my uncle was massively impressed.
This is the lady that we spoke about in the previous video.
Yes, the brain dead one.
Overheard the discussion of her organs being donated.
Yes.
As I said, she was very happy when she woke up.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't actually.
That was sarcasm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alice was going through nannies and carers at a rate of knots. Once when we were taking Patrick somewhere, we left her with a babysitter, and when we came back, she just disappeared, and she said over her shoulder, "You're raising a monster." And our housekeeper told us that she got an extra 50 cents an hour or a day.
In my defence, she thought it was for my sister.
Yes. So she was surprised it was Alice, but it's great when you get danger money.
She's not the one with the little tufts of hair, is she?
No, that was horrible.
Got another one.
They were only little babies, and I was really, really ill. And my husband took the older children out for the day, and we had the twins at home, and we had a babysitter for them. She didn't last long. Dozing in bed, you know, oh dear, I'm really sick. And she came into the bedroom and said, "I can't take this any longer, I have to go home." So I came downstairs. They looked guilty, both of them. I dumped them on their baby bouncers. And my house was a disaster. I don't know how she made so much mess in such a short time. Every toy was out of the playroom and spread around the family room, including the Lego box with thousands of pieces of Lego. It was all over the floor. So while
mixed in with bits of her hair,
yeah, so
with skin still attached.
While I was quite shocked actually. Poor love, she had a big deep scratch down her face.
How?
And she looked very dishevelled when she staggered out.
You see the size of my hands, even now they couldn't really do that damage.
Yes. But when I was picking up all the Lego on hands and knees, there was a lot of hair on the floor. I was absolutely horrified to see a big clump of it attached to skin.
We don't know which one did it, but being that I'm the one with the, coordinated movement, it's kind of, I'm looking a bit guilty.
They both look guilty. They were both very quiet for the rest of the day.
Yes, well, I used to have nannies that didn't read. I had to read to them, and yes, they weren't really up to the task.
No, it's funny, one of the nannies came in and said, "What will I do with Alice?" And I said, "Oh, just read her a story, that'll calm her down." And she said, "I can't read." Dear oh dear. That took me by surprise. She didn't put that in her CV.
You're not going to, are you?
No, so I told her to tell us to read her a story. Alice might have been a toddler, but she could read.
If I couldn't read, I had a good imagination. I could make up a story to go with the pictures. I could pretend to read.
Yeah, and while all that was going on, we have to prepare for Patrick's court case. We're exhausting our resources very quickly. In the end, we had to mortgage our house for $84,000, which in the late 80s seemed quite a substantial mortgage to us. Yeah, we applied for legal aid and we didn't get it because we didn't meet the financial criteria. And we went to see the firm that usually does most of the medical negligence cases, and he told us we didn't have a case, couldn't afford it without legal aid. We're looking at millions. And he showed us a grey filing cabinet, and he said that filing cabinet was chock full of complaints of people who wanted to sue for medical negligence and had never gone ahead. It's not all that unusual. You think of America as being a place where people sue at the drop of a hat, but there was a study done on this called the Harvard study, and 50% of people who've been injured by medical negligence do not know that they've been injured. Only 7% try to receive, and only 3% get a favourable outcome. I think that's just...
Well, the odds are great, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a long time ago that I read it. We booked you by two different professors of obstetrics. The first one in Melbourne didn't charge us, which was kind of him, and he told us a story about twins that were born several days apart. I hadn't come across that in the literature, but I'm sure that's happened sometime in history and that they both survived. But strange, because everyone we talked to had this same story, could never establish when or where it happened.
Oh,
so
really?
I could read about it.
Oh, it's probably an old wives' tale.
No, it must have happened.
What, just like Jesus happened?
Just like any folk myth.
Exactly.
There's usually a basis for this. One of them, though, charged us almost $1,000 for his report, which was actually quite cheap, but we didn't realise that at the time. We paid many thousands of dollars to people overseas for reports. What will we do? So my husband said, well, we've got to be able to do this ourselves.
Remember, he's working at the same time and it's near impossible.
Well, trying to work, but as a signal practitioner, that's not just doing the work. You've got to go get clients, and we just didn't have time to do that sort of thing anymore. So wasn't earning much either. Anyway, my husband had access to the medical library at Melbourne University, so every night he'd bring home a stack of medical books for me to scan and go through them. It wouldn't have taken all that long.
Except you kept getting interested.
I kept getting interested. There's so many funny things in those things. I particularly like the laying out of the bodies for nurses when they're laying out a body for the family to see. Don't shave their beards off. Apparently one family got very upset because when they came in, Dad had worn a beard all his life.
They took off the beard.
They took off the beard. Yeah, there was some really fascinating stuff, totally unconnected with our case.
What were you thinking?
No, I don't know. But anyway, my job
It's not like you can grow it back.
My job was to, because the books have contributions from different professors and experts and whatnot. So my job was to find professors of obstetrics whose article favoured us. So we did that, and we wrote to them overseas, and every one of them, shock horror, this is terrible. One person was kind enough to write that he would have expected
a triple fatality.
A triple fatality, and we should consider ourselves extremely lucky. But anyway, so then my husband prepared another submission for legal aid, and we gave him the opinions that we had at that time. Well, obviously, this is a totally winnable case. Also managed to get somebody from another state to do it as well, so they were happy with that. And we did get legal aid. My husband made the case that nobody could afford to run this, and just because you happen to have a middle-class sort of lifestyle, there's no reason why you should be denied justice. And that was the point of his thing. We had to sign a contract to say that we'd hand over our house and be responsible for our costs. At the time, it didn't occur to me, we would have been responsible for the cost of the other side as well. We would never have got out of that hole. But it was pretty obvious that without some sort of input, we just could not manage. Patrick's was massively expensive. Nobody could have afforded him. All the therapists and equipment and seeing experts for his condition, trying to get advice, my training and how to care for him. It all mounted up. Actually, I forgot, before we managed to get all these favourable opinions, we were so desperate to get a doctor, an honest one, in Australia to testify for us, because often people who do this in the past went without a medical opinion.
It's very hard to get a medical opinion because they're going against the medical board.
And really,
and then they're not going to work against.
A doctor who's an expert today could be defended tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we took a little ad out, well, it was quite a large ad actually, ad in the aid, asking if anybody who had ever sued before and knew of someone who could assist us, would they contact us. Well, the crazy's out.
That wasn't very intelligent.
No, the next day, my husband was at work. I was fielding the mentally ill all day on the phone. And I actually think that our obstetrician rang us too. It sounded just like him. And he had a story just like ours. And a few days after the ad, we got a call from somebody else who was in much the same predicament as us. He came up to meet us and he said he was a bit worried because he thought it might be a lure by the insurance company to get information from him. He also thought that his phone was being tapped and warned us that ours was as well. I thought that was a bit mad, but it actually was probably true. We had to go and see doctors, from the defence side, because we're building our case, they're building their defence. They more or less decided not to represent this guy once they'd seen us. And, we were demolishing these experts in no time flat. I know we went to see one paediatrician and he said to us, after, we'd spent an hour or so with him, with the children, on best behaviour, or else...
Pain of death. Yeah. You wait till we get home.
Yes. So he really liked the children because they were perfect little angels. And he said to us, there'll be some big guns after you in this court case, but I won't be one of them. And I said, well, thank you very much. But we got instructions, solicitors, to take Patrick to an obstetrician to be checked out. And it sounded a bit strange. Why would an obstetrician want to check out Patrick? So my husband rang the guy. We didn't know we're not supposed to do that. We were going to see him the next day anyway, and said to him, well, what's this? Why are we coming? And he said, well, he wants to measure my pelvis to see whether Patrick's head would fit through, whether his head got stuck. Mind you, both twins' heads were smaller than other children. No problem.
I thought we had big heads.
You did have big heads. But
smaller than your other kids. Okay,
yeah, because they were 2 weeks early. And Alice's head was the same size as Pat. She fed it through. Once we explained...
That's convenient.
Yeah, once we explained that to this poor old man, my husband said he sounded really nice. He decided that he'd rather not testify, so we're in trouble for that. And this goes into the possibility of phone tapping. I'm not saying it was tapped, just this was really sus. We rang one of the witnesses. We didn't know we weren't allowed to ring the witnesses. And he's an Irish guy, so placed a person-to-person call to Ireland. And we eventually, we got him and we got the call back to say he's on the line. Okay, great. And he did a study on beat-to-beat fetal monitoring by a trained midwife. That's just as good as electronic monitoring, but we didn't have either, so and once that was explained to him and what had happened, and I don't know why he wasn't sent medical notes. Perhaps he was, it would have been really cruel to drag the poor man out here and shame him on the stand, but he told us that that was it, he wasn't getting involved in this. And by about 6 o'clock in the morning, you couldn't just send an email, so I doubt he would have rung and asked to speak to this person's solicitors as soon as he hung up the phone from us. But we get a call from our solicitor and he's irate. Can't contact witnesses. Okay, we've been seeing all these witnesses for Patrick, but you can't do that, so we won't do that. But I just think that, how did they know? Very strange.
Yeah, that is strange. How quickly after was it?
Started business.
Oh, was it?
An hour or so later, it rang us. It's not like the guy could have said, I'm just sending an email.
Yeah, okay. That's very sus.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the twins we had a bit of trouble with playgroup.
Not with Pat.
I'm not saying anything, but...
Not with Pat.
No. So we decided that they need socialising, so they went to creche for 3 hours a week. And they absolutely loved it. Patrick had an absolutely fantastic person caring for him there, his aide. And I remember one morning I got there and she hadn't arrived, so I sat down at the table with Patrick. He's doing a little wooden puzzle. And all the time he's going, meh, meh. Go
trying
away.
To be all independent.
Go away, mummy. I want to be all independent. They went to kindergarten. Their birthday's in February and kindergarten started early February, so I thought they wouldn't have time to make any friends. So who will I invite to their birthday party? So I invited the whole kinder, and that was a great party.
Pat got the chocolate cake.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes. I made Alice a dog cake.
She's not a big fan of dolls.
No. So she was really disappointed. She wanted the chocolate cake. Yeah, but I had a great time. It seemed like everybody else had a great time too. And our eldest son took Patrick to kinder. We had a grant of $90 a week to pay an aide. I couldn't get one, so he kindly volunteered, and apparently he did quite a good job. Although on one occasion he brought Patrick home and left him with on my knee, gave him to me and took off. And Patrick's absolutely furious. We spent until 12 o'clock that night waiting for my son to come home to tell us what has happened to Patrick. He is yelling. And we established that Chris is a very bad boy, has done something terrible to Patrick. But that's the problem. You can find out there's a problem, but the exact details of the problem, if you can't speak, you can't find out. And when my son came home, I said, what happened to Patrick? And he said, oh, he fell off the swing. Great. We've been sitting here putting up with this furious child for, what is it?
8 hours, yeah.
Just yelling at us. And Patrick likes retribution, so I went up to my son and pretended to smack him.
Bad boy.
We're saying, bad boy, bad boy. Don't ever do that again. And Patrick was happy then.
Yeah, Yeah, I get hit daily on pat duty.
And then he went to sleep.
Little bugger.
Yeah. Alice continued to be trouble. I went to pick him up at kindergarten once and everybody else was outside. And Alice is sitting inside. I thought, what's she done? And I said, what's the matter, Alice? Why are you here? And she said, oh, it's okay. She said, the teacher asked me if I'd like to help clean up the yard. And I said, I'd rather not.
Oh, don't ask!
The problem with Alice is that she spent so much time telling adults what to do and that. She hasn't got normal child standards to adults.
I thought she was actually asking.
Yeah.
I'm still a bit like that. You've got to be very precise.
Yeah, so Alice went to school and Patrick was quite upset that he couldn't go. He was
That's okay, I got expelled almost immediately.
Yes, this is a tragic tale of when the teacher came into the room where all the new students were, Alice felt called upon to stand up and give her fashion advice.
She was wearing a fake fur jacket with a summer dress above the knee. Doesn't work.
No, that was so.
Doesn't work now, it didn't work then.
So Alice thought that she'd let her know that she'd made a fashion faux pas.
Wasn't there a pole? Didn't this escalate to me?
No, that's not the rest of it. Then I get a phone call. Can you come and get Alice? And I get up to the school. Alice has been thrown out of the class. She's hanging onto a rail outside the classroom, screaming, I hate bloody Mrs. Summer. So take Alice home. Needless to say, the twins joined their older sister
in homeschooling.
In homeschooling. We did go up to the school. They suggested that Patrick and I could come up to try to keep Alice quiet. She was quiet, and Patrick was an angel. He is amazing. When at that time, because I could control his movements and he could too, because he's tiny, he could look pretty much normal.
Or was he trying to be normal so that he could stay?
He was trying to be normal so he could stay. He was really excited that he could go. It was the same with the kindergarten. They told me I might have to give a little talk on what's wrong with Patrick, so they don't think he's contagious or violent or something, but they never did. The parents were incredibly welcoming and we were very grateful for that.
That's very unusual.
Yeah, but Patrick went up there and showed him what he could do. And they said, well, what's his disability? That's how well you could fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. Anyway, this was a very stressful time with all the legals going on at the same time. But
I wasn't allowed back at the school, was I? Because I yelled, I don't want to come back. They said they wouldn't have me back anyway.
Yes, yeah. Well, she did go for a couple of
days. They had
the
last word, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
And they'd already refused to take Patrick when he was baby. So
nothing wrong with homeschooling. I loved homeschooling. So.
Yeah. Well, I was doing a lot of work with the twins anyway. We were going to have no trouble proving negligence, but we were going to have trouble proving lifespan.
And intelligence, isn't it?
Intelligence is in direct correlation to lifespan. There was a study in Scotland called Why We Must Plan for Survival, and we wanted to bring those people out because they would have established this for us, but our solicitor wouldn't let us. So we couldn't do that. And so doing IQ tests and whatnot were really important. We had various psychologists to look at the children, and we found out that Alice was a genius. That was funny. When we first went to his office, he took Alice off to talk to her, and he came back and he said, her language is incredible. And we said,
sorry.
Oh, sorry. I told her not to swear. And he said, no, it's not swearing. She has the language comprehension of a child in its teens. Oh, great. I hadn't noticed. She's been yapping away since she was 9 months old. Eventually, reports came back that all the children were impacted on by Patrick, but the boys not so much because they'd had little contact with Patrick. They'd gone to school and university and things like that. And my daughter, who spent a lot of time helping me. She was considered to be a disturbed child, but Alice was really bad.
Psychotic tendencies.
Yeah, he said that it's common in twins, and the surviving twin often suffering from survivor guilt.
I don't have that.
No, I've never noticed anything like that.
I didn't have any control over it. I was little tacker.
Yeah.
And it's not my problem if I came out first.
Yeah. So
sorry, but it seems a bit brutal, but there's nothing I can do about it.
One really scary part was he said that the most common age for the surviving twin to commit suicide is 18. So that was pretty concerning, but we looked at Alice and really she was more likely to be a mass murderer than
Thanks for that.
Yeah. But anyway, and that's why the twins were so good at doing IQ tests for the psychologists.
Yeah, no, the actual IQ. Being trained from a very young age to IQ tests.
We had a psychologist from the Spastic Centre spent 2.5 days in our house watching Patrick and doing tests, and he was massively impressed. I mean, people look at Patrick and you just automatically assume that, you know, he might have an impact, and that was quite a surprise that somebody else could see that. I'm with him all the time, so I know that. So when the twins were 5 years old, we finally got to court.
1991.
Well, we'd done everything that we possibly could ourselves for the court case. We had massive cases of files and giving them all to the barrister. I doubt that he ever read them. That was a full-time job in itself, doing all this preparation, and it was also very expensive. My husband actually became so good at talking about obstetrics. He used to get letters addressed to him saying, Professor, at the local post office where we live in the country, picking up our mail. Oh, your husband's a professor. No, not I'm afraid. People just think he is. Pretty embarrassing.
Okay, so we'll finish it up there. Rupert's stomach is actually gurgling. I've noticed it, so I picked him up. You need some food. Now, the next video, we'll be talking about the 1991 court case.
Yes.
So that should be quite an entertaining one. Lots of nice corrupt...
Yes.
The legal system in Australia, it's always good fun.
Yes.
You never know what's going to happen.
No.
Doesn't have anything to do with the actual law.
No.
Okay. Well, on that note, I need to go feed Rupert. Right. Okay. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So we do want to reach out for subscribers. So just to remind you guys, please subscribe. We are trying to reach as many people as possible, and you know, if we all come together, we can hopefully change something. So please hit that subscribe button for Safe Pat's Life. Thank you.